这房子是我爸留给我的，如果我爸还在的话，他也会同意的。
Ryan grabbed his mother, Evelyn, roughly, blaming her for his misfortunes. He collapsed on the sofa, drunk and despairing because his ex-fiancée, Victoria, the daughter of the city's richest man, was marrying someone else.
都是你害的，都是你害的！
小南，你在说什么呀？
本是首富前妻大婚，新郎本该是我，本该是我。
He told his mother he was tired of their poor life and would rather be a servant for a rich family than her son. In his drunken rage, he slapped her and said she should have given him a rich father. He then tried to take her bank book, which held 100,000 yuan meant to pay off his debts. His mother begged him not to gamble the money away. He became enraged and tried to take her jade bracelet too. He accused her of having a new partner, saying that was why she wouldn't give him money. In the struggle, he shoved her violently. Ryan ran off with the money, leaving his injured mother behind. She died in Jacob's arms, telling him that if she had another life, she would cherish his love. When Evelyn opened her eyes again, she had been reborn. She realized she had a chance to change her fate. Her son's voice called out, threatening to disown her if she didn't agree to his marriage to Victoria. The first thing Evelyn did after being reborn was agree to her son's marriage to Victoria, the daughter of the city's new richest man. She told her son she would not stand in his way, but she also wouldn't give him any of her money. She knew from her past life that his dream of marrying into wealth would only lead to misery.
你想去有钱人家当狗，我不阻拦。
邱婉如不会把我当狗，她把我当一块宝。你知道他们家住的什么小区吗？豪庭小区，全航城最牛逼的小区，就是把你卖了也买不起一个卫生间。
She tore up her resignation letter, deciding to live for herself this time. Meanwhile, Jacob Stone, now a wealthy CEO, had also been reborn. He remembered his past life and his love for Evelyn. He told his assistant he was finally close to what he'd always wanted. He went to Evelyn's home to practice confessing his feelings, but Victoria interrupted and asked him if he would marry her. After getting married, Evelyn and Jacob walked happily together. Jacob was overjoyed, saying it felt like a dream that they were finally married. Evelyn reminded him they were older now and shouldn't act like young people. Jacob said he didn't care. He'd waited 30 years for this moment.
为了这个，我都已经等了30多年了。你终于是我江山的妻子了，以后谁还敢看不起你啊？
At his office, he showed his assistant the marriage certificate, overjoyed that Evelyn was finally his wife. The assistant congratulated him and asked if he would still give the gift he had prepared for her son. Ryan threw his mother, Evelyn, onto the sofa, demanding the property deed. He had no money and needed to sell the house to buy a birthday gift for his wealthy girlfriend's father. He believed the house was his inheritance, but his mother revealed that she and his late father had bought it together and that she had been paying the mortgage all these years. He shoved her down again just as his girlfriend Victoria arrived. She told him her family was about to partner with the powerful Stone Group, which would make them the richest in the city.
婉如，还是你对我好。走，我们现在就去卖房子，准备贺礼。
等会儿，如果你真要卖房子，那就把这个签了。
His girlfriend urged him to sign it, promising he would have everything he wanted.
你可想明白了，我马上可是要成为首富女婿的人。这段结束以前，我可就对你没有任何义务了。到时候你去哪儿说理都不行哦。
不会要你的1分钱，也不会去打扰你的生活。
Without a second thought, he signed the papers and left with her. At his office, Evelyn's new husband, CEO Jacob Stone, told his assistant to prepare a lavish gift for his new stepson, 10 luxury cars and 3 large apartments. He explained that as the heir to the Stone Group, his stepson must have the best of everything. He didn't know his stepson was about to marry the daughter of his business rival. When he learned the rival's company was in financial trouble, he decided to award them a major project, believing this would secretly help his stepson. His assistant then delivered an invitation to the rival's birthday party. Meanwhile, his wife visited a high-end property sales office where a saleswoman mistook her for a maid and rudely said the smaller apartments were only for the servants of the villa owners. As the saleswoman threatened to call security, Jacob arrived and was stunned to see his wife being insulted. Evelyn was cornered by a rude sales agent at a luxury property. Then the billionaire owner arrived and revealed the entire development had been built for her. Jacob and his fiancée Evelyn were looking for a house when a saleswoman interrupted them, mocking their age and telling them to leave if they couldn't afford it. She didn't know Jacob was the chairman of the whole corporation and that he had built the property for his fiancée. The agent sneered that her boss, Mr. Stone, was a man of real romance who built the community to commemorate his first love, unlike the couple in front of her. At that moment, the sales office manager arrived, saw Jacob, and immediately bowed in apology. He shouted at the agent, revealing the man she had just insulted was Mr. Stone himself, the chairman of the company. The manager fired her on the spot, and she froze when she realized the woman she'd mocked, Evelyn, was the first love the entire development was named after. Inside the lavish villa, he had even prepared a surprise for her, a stunning, sparkling gown. But their joy was cut short when they attended a party for a business rival, Mr. Davis. The host congratulated Mr. Davis on his partnership with Jacob's company, not realizing Jacob was in the room. Just as Mr. Davis boasted about his success, Jacob's ex-wife arrived, revealed to be Mr. Dottis, Davis's new partner, leaving everyone in shock. At a high society banquet, Ryan violently shoved his mother, Evelyn, trying to throw her out. He screamed that she had no right to be there after they had signed papers cutting all ties. He had no idea he was about to lose everything. Ryan sneered that she must have heard he was marrying into the wealthy Davis family and had come crawling back for money. Evelyn looked at her arrogant son with disgust and told him she had no interest in his new life. He mocked her sparkling gown and her age. She shot back that while he wanted to be a pet for the upper class, she just wanted to be herself. Ryan exploded, shouting that after partnering with the powerful Stone Group, the Davis family would be the richest in the city and she would be nothing. At that moment, the head of the Davis family stepped forward and confronted Evelyn. He smirked and offered her a chance to be with him, but only if she behaved. He threatened to cancel his son's wedding if she didn't obey, thinking she was a powerless widow he could control. He then insulted her dress, calling it a cheap knockoff meant to get attention. His daughter inspected the collar and suddenly gasped. She found the designer's unique mark and screamed that the dress was real.
也是你偷的，你个小偷！我没有偷东西，这是我新婚丈夫朋友的衣服，他借给我穿的，你不要污蔑我。
你可真能编啊！你能嫁给一个什么大人物？他又有什么朋友，能有这么贵的衣服？一定是你在撒谎。
Just then, Jacob Stone, Evelyn's new husband, got a call from his assistant. He learned that his wife was being humiliated at the banquet. After Evelyn confronted him for selling her house to buy gifts for his wealthy father-in-law, Ryan choked his own mother in a fit of rage. He screamed that she had no right to tell him what to do. Jacob Stone, Evelyn's new husband and a billionaire chairman, burst into the party. He kicked Ryan to the ground and pulled his wife into his arms. He declared that from now on, no one would ever bully her again. Ryan, not recognizing Jacob, called him a nobody and warned him to stay away. The young man then boasted to his father-in-law that he would soon be the richest in the city thanks to his partnership with the Stone Group. Mr. Davis stared in disbelief. The young man's bragging went on until a secretary announced the arrival of the Stone Group's representative. Jacob Stone introduced himself as the true chairman. Mr. Davis went pale when he realized the man he had sneered at was the billionaire he'd been desperate to partner with. The real shock came when Jacob's assistant revealed a devastating secret. As everyone stared, Mr. Lewis confronted Mr. Davis, the greedy father-in-law. Mr. Davis tried to laugh it off. Mr. Lewis suddenly slapped him across the face and shouted that he and his son were nothing but animals. Mr. Davis didn't realize that the woman they had humiliated was the billionaire's wife, a woman so respected that Jacob always called her Auntie Evelyn. Mr. Davis turned pale when he understood his mistake. Mr. Lewis announced that the Stone Group was cutting all ties with Mr. Davis's company. He warned that any other business that worked with Mr. Davis would be blacklisted. The $5 billion deal was terminated. Mr. Davis collapsed in shock and was left ruined. His daughter screamed at her husband and blamed him for their downfall. In a blind rage, Ryan lunged at his mother and her husband, but Jacob easily threw him to the ground again. Ryan was forced to kneel and beg for his mother's forgiveness, but it was too late. Jacob and his wife left him disgraced on the floor. Later, back at their luxurious home, Evelyn asked Jacob if his powerful assistant was trustworthy. Jacob smiled and revealed one final shock. He confessed that the young, loyal assistant was actually their son. Greedy in-laws burst into the mansion and immediately began a shameless assault. They accused Evelyn of abandoning them to live in luxury and complained she didn't even offer them a glass of water after their long trip. A man calmly walked in and poured them a drink. This was Jacob Stone, Evelyn's late husband's best friend and the true owner of the house. The mother-in-law felt no shame and demanded he fetch her expensive imported cherries. Seeing Jacob and Evelyn together, the sister-in-law accused the widow of remarrying a rich man and hiding her new life. She yelled that the $3,000 a month Evelyn had been sending wasn't nearly enough. The mother burst into fake tears and wailed that Evelyn had forgotten her own son and left him to suffer while she enjoyed her fortune. Evelyn tried to explain that everything was a misunderstanding, but they refused to listen. Hearing their lies, Jacob finally spoke up. He revealed that their village had been redeveloped and that every household had gotten a big compensation payout and a brand new apartment in the city. They'd been pretending to be poor the whole time. What they didn't know was that the man who'd ruined another wealthy family was actually the son of Jacob's old comrade. That young man chased after the girl he'd wronged, desperately claiming he'd been reborn from the future. He swore he knew how to make her the richest woman in the city to make up for his mistakes. Unimpressed, she gave him a simple test. If he really knew the future, she said, he just had to tell her tomorrow's winning lottery numbers. But the man who claimed to know everything suddenly froze and couldn't say a single word. Evelyn was cornered by her mother-in-law, who demanded she hand over her ID and sign away her house right then. As if that wasn't enough, the mother-in-law then demanded Evelyn take none of the money from the sale and, on top of that, give her grandson an extra 1 million yuan. When Evelyn asked why she should give him so much money, the mother-in-law shamelessly said a mother giving her son money was only natural. She argued Evelyn was old and would leave the money to him when she died anyway. Just then, Jacob stepped in to defend his wife, but the mother-in-law sneered at him and called him worthless. She then turned her venom back on Evelyn, viciously accusing her of being a jinx who'd caused her first son's death and was now trying to jinx her grandson. Evelyn trembled with anger and finally snapped. She agreed to sign the papers to sell the house but declared they would not get a single penny from her. She revealed the house had been bought with her late husband's money, and she was giving it to them as charity. But this only made the greedy mother-in-law change tactics. She suddenly demanded the compensation money from her son's death, accusing Evelyn of hiding it. The sister-in-law joined in, claiming Evelyn must have given all the money to her new gigolo husband for his business. At that moment, Jacob stepped forward. He confessed he had borrowed 200,000 from her late husband when he started his company and had never paid it back. He pulled out a bank card and said it contained the full amount, telling them to take the money and leave. Believing they'd won, the mother-in-law snatched the card and the signed papers. She then cruelly called Evelyn a jinx and blamed her for her son's death. After they left, Jacob held his wife and promised he would never let anyone bully her again. In the car, the grandson excitedly asked if she had really gotten the money. The mother-in-law laughed triumphantly and boasted that not only had she secured the house, but she'd also tricked them out of an extra 200,000 yuan. Nathan boasted he'd already secured foreign capital and that once the funds arrived, his project would take off. He promised becoming the richest man in the city was just a matter of time. The sister-in-law then revealed her next wicked plan to accuse Jacob of infidelity and ruin their marriage. At his lavish new office, Nathan thanked his girlfriend Victoria for introducing him to a powerful investor named Leo, who'd helped him secure a 5 million yuan investment. He declared this was the start of their rise. What he didn't know was that he was walking into a trap. Victoria wasn't who she seemed. She went straight to Leo's office and sat intimately on his lap. It turned out they were lovers, and the whole investment was a scam meant to bankrupt Nathan. They mocked him for thinking he was some reborn protagonist and vowed to make him fail. To gloat about her son's success, the sister-in-law dragged Evelyn to the lobby of Nathan's new company. Just as Nathan strutted in and boasted about how he was destined to be rich, a news report flashed across the giant screen in the lobby. It announced that Leo had been arrested for massive fraud and that his son-in-law, Nathan, had been named a key accomplice. Evelyn looked at him coldly and asked if this was the big business he'd been bragging about. Nathan's face went pale when he realized he'd been completely played.